The names and the faces of the thousands of people who escaped from the World Trade Center seem more distant now. I came back here recently with one survivor, Leslie Haskin, to hear her inspiring story of how she has moved on with her life.
People from around the world are drawn to Ground Zero, trying to understand something that defies explanation.
How do you anticipate that one day you're going to wake up and the part of your life that was always the part of your life that you were most proud of is going to be gone?
On 9/11, Leslie Haskin was living her dream as an insurance company executive in the World Trade Center's Tower 1.
From the very second of impact, that building was crumbling. You know, there was explosions everywhere. There was, within seconds, the floor above us was already caving into our floor. So we knew we didn't have long in this building.
Leslie began a harrowing journey down 36 floors.
We kind of wandered around that concourse forever, looking for a way that was safe to get out,
right.
You know, to dodge the bodies and the debris and the chaos.
What Leslie experienced in those minutes would change her life forever and trigger her own devastating collapse.
Immediately after 9/11, I was committed to a psychiatric hospital. I'd suffered a severe mental breakdown and was diagnosed with PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress syndrome meant that any sound or smell that reminded her of 9/11 triggered a reaction.
I boarded all the windows in my home with these thick shutters and wouldn't let my children leave. I wasn't sleeping.
Leslie tried unsuccessfully to return to work and began a downward spiral.
I lost my home. I lost my job. I lost my car. I lost everything that I'd built for myself.
Most tragically of all, she couldn't be a mother to her children.
My son's cousin opened his doors to us. His name is Sean. I love him dearly. He opened his doors to he took us in and he took care of us.
Yeah. Leslie had reached a crossroads and had to make a decision.
Whether I continue to feed myself pity and anger and pain and guilt, or I feed myself healing and peace and recovery and renewal.
I'm not so sure it doesn't take some serious courage just to walk along here, right?
It takes some serious faith.
Faith.
Leslie's faith was her salvation.
I could see it in her eyes, because her eyes had seen so much. Her eyes still seemed wounded. And I remember that first time that I saw that her eyes weren't wounded anymore.
After falling so far and years of therapy, Leslie's ascending now. A year ago, she went back to work near Ground Zero.
What's the most important thing then you learned over the last 5 years and from September 11th?
I want to live and love as hard as I can. I want to, take that extra step outside of what's comfortable for Leslie's world. See you later.
Leslie has written a book called Between Heaven and Ground Zero, based on the journal she kept during her recovery.